Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the Flying Knife Joseki. We're not quite there yet in the strictest sense of the term, but we're getting very close. In the previous video, we talked about whites connecting here at number 20. And in this video, let's talk about a slightly different move, and that is right here, this tiger's mouth. The idea here is actually very similar, because white is trying to take care of this cutting point. Remember, if white goes on the offensive and number 20 here, then this is a very big weakness in white's shape. And when black can capture these three stones on a ladder like this, then number 20, this cut is not playable. And that is why white is trying to play the tiger's mouth to settle this group on the right side and sacrifice these three stones. So this is, once again, very similar. It'll be something like this. And now white will have to deal with number 19. So this is really situational. A lot of the patterns, variations we see, they're all different, but kind of similar. And it all depends on what else is going on the board. So when you play here number 20, white's best move is to play a 2-space extension here on the left side. So compared with the Joseki we saw in the previous video, white does not get a super strong wall on either side. But the upside to this is that black can't really escape on its own either, right? If black is trying to escape, then it's kind of boring. Black doesn't have anything to build off of. Here, it seems like black's best move is right here, number 29, keeping some pressure on white. Of course, it's tempting for white to play the Atari and capture, or to play another pressing move, but this is actually not great because white is actually really short on liberties here, and there could be trouble for white on the upper side. So that's why white's best move is probably just to play this rather ugly shape, but it's very solid. Black can keep playing on top. But of course, after number 28, black can take sente as well, play elsewhere on the board. Any of these moves will be fine. Now we should ask, however, why can't white still play the Joseki we learned from last time? And the problem is that number 20 gives white a relatively weak position because of this squeeze. Black can throw in and squeeze white. White is short on liberties. But interestingly, black should not trigger this right away. It seems very tempting. You can play this. You're one move away from capturing white. But white is actually quite resilient. You don't really have anything here. White is completely alive after all these exchanges. And the problem for black is that number 35 also makes black's liberties really tight. Now only 3 liberties left for these 4 stones, right? So black can't really trigger it right away. Black will have to wait a little bit. So black should still jump or play this small nice move when the opportunity is right. Let's say sometime down the line, then black can take some good measures against this white group. Cutting here is actually a really good move because what will white do now? If it captures, then white will get squeezed this way. And this is already looking pretty dangerous for white, right? So black will be able to enclose white, or maybe even, well, no, we can't really kill right now. Black has 2 cutting points here, but black should be able to enclose white on the upper side. And if white plays here, then again, black can play these squeeze moves, also very satisfying against white. Of course, can white play here? Then black will be able to capture number 10, right, and gain more territories on the upper side. So that's the follow-up. But the problem, of course, is that black really wants these 2 stones when there are only 3 black stones here, right? When black is weak, you want to connect, right? If this were the case and white gives it up, then that's great, right? Black is very happy that it's connected. But when black gets stronger on the outside, the value, once again, of these 2 white stones decreases because white doesn't need to keep black disconnected because black is already pretty strong on the outside. White is not going to effectively attack this black group on the outside So white doesn't need to keep black from disconnecting. That is why after all these moves, if you cut here, white can also just consider giving up these 2 stones. Because keeping black disconnected is for attacking black, rather than to keep these 4 points, right? So I think that's the tricky part about this pattern, and it's a principle that applies elsewhere as well. Overall, it is hard to say whether this favors one side or the other. It's just another variation right here at number 20. And you really have to consider it on your own if you're using this Joseki at all and see how it fits into your overall game plan. So that's the more sophisticated part that is difficult to teach and can only be learned from experience. So I think that's it for this Joseki. And once again, the reminder here is that the idea is very similar to number 20, connecting here. Black must get to the corner. Black, right, cannot play here. As we showed last time, there will be a ko that will favor white. And also, black cannot play at number 23. Just adding one more word to that, we got to here. Last time, we said black gains 3 points at expense of severely hurting number 19 on the outside and really strengthening white on the outside. Right? White has a very good wall, much stronger, and number 19. It's very hard to pull out number 19 like this. You're just saving a rootless group that is not worth it for black. One thing to add is that this capture race, right, seems like white is very vulnerable, but white can actually have a few more co-threats. 32, very big. Now how will black respond? Right, this is 4 liberties versus 4 liberties. It seems rather straightforward. Black should just play here. Now it's 3 versus 4. But stop for a moment and think, is this the correct move? If you're ready, let's look at this capture race together, because it's worth spending a little time on these capture races so you can save time when you're playing, when you get into these situations. So 33 seems like 4 versus 3, but white has this hane on the first line. And you always need to watch out for these moves. Black cannot play on the outside, because now black cannot come in anywhere. And white basically will be able to connect. So black fails. So black, of course, will want to play here, hoping white connects. And now black can stand down here. White will also need to stand down here, and black wins. But it's not that easy, right? Whenever you see a pattern like this, you will want to make a ko as white. Right? You will want to make a ko. And will black capture? No, you should not capture when you're not in a tari. Right? This way, white will be able to capture back after 38. So this is giving white a free co-threat. Black must wait until the outside liberty is captured, and now black captures first. So this is an approach ko. White still owes a move on the outside, but this is not a clean kill. And that could be a problem, very big problem for black. Black already lost influence, a lot of influence on the outside. The corner is not that big. And if black has to play an approach ko to win this race to capture, then it's a huge problem. And that means 33 is wrong. With 34 and 36, really neat move to create this ko. White can benefit tremendously. So what should black do? Right, playing here on the first line, this diagonal move, always worth considering. And it is the correct move. White really can't really do anything. Right? White can't come in anywhere. We'll have to connect on the outside, and black wins this race to capture. If white tries something like this, then again, black can play here. White can't really tari here. What about white trying to create a ko this way? Right? This is another way to create a ko, but black can stop that. Right? Now white can come in here. If white connects, then black can play here. Right? This way, white will be captured, even though arguably you might lose a little more points here, because 44 somehow sets up even bigger endgame move at 45, so probably need to stand down here. But this is the capture race problem that you need to consider after these Josekis. Of course, this is not a proper Joseki move, but it's still worth your time, just considering this. There's another really nice tessity in this situation, and that is for black to simply stand down. Seems like 4 versus 4, you want to get to your opponent's liberties, but no, 33 also works. What if white comes in here? Seems like 4 versus 3, but because of 33, it's already kind of occupied one of white's liberties, and there's nothing white can do after this. If white plays here, then black just connects. Black still has one more liberty, somehow, than white, right? 3 versus 2. But the problem here, of course, is that white, again, can throw in here. That could be a headache for black. Again, we get to an approach code. White owes a move on the outside, but black will have to resolve the code. So 35 seems like, right, if you calculate this way, it seems like it's fine. But actually, no. White can throw in here, and there will be more trouble. So what should black do in this situation? Standing down here seems like a really ugly shape, but it's very effective. If it's something like this, then black will win very easily. If white plays on the outside, then black can kind of connect on the first line, and white can no longer come in. So 33, 35, also really, really good moves. If white gets to this point, right, again, black has to be careful not to create this ko. So black can just play here, but this is probably better for white in the endgame, right? Get to play at 34. So we're spending a little more time considering the life and death after 32, but the takeaway is that white will get many, many co-threats out of this. At 23, it's very intuitive, very tempting, but it is the wrong move. You have to play this rather ugly shape and preserve the potential for fights and disruption in number 19. So this is the variation we came to today. As all these variations in the flying knife and all the Josekis in general really depend on what the rest of the board looks like. And you will gain more experience in that through playing more games and playing more proper Josekis in those games. Thank you for watching, and we will continue next time.